This is the first time I'm ever going to do a review on my own content, but we have two crazy moments that happen on the PTR testing from this week that I feel like need to be made into one video. I talked a little bit about it in the video from Saturday, but I genuinely would like to hear people's opinions on why they go on the PTR if they believe that they are acting this way. Like, just somebody's got to answer this question for me. If the purpose of being on here is to test, like it's in the name, right? I think we can all agree that is the purpose. It is not to upgrade the key. You should be looking at the key as a success and the failure as a success too, because that will help you upgrade the key on live, right? Like, do we disagree with that? I don't know. Otherwise, what's the actual motivation for upgrading keys on the PTR? I'm not really sure. But for a small problem to then escalate into a big problem, it really causes a lot of issues. Now, the first clip we're going to show you guys is actually a lot different than I expected it to be, because I did not realize what actually happened here. It's really funny because this is why reviewing the content is so crucial. I legitimately did not know what actually goes on here, went on until after I'm now looking at it now. But we're taking a look at the first boss of Dawnbreaker as the first incident of this, and I can tell you right now, this boss has been nerfed. The Obsidian Beam was nerfed via the patch notes. I think it was a pretty substantial nerf, and as you can see on the screen there, it actually is very easy to survive right now. They nerfed this to a degree that I don't even need a CD for it anymore. In fact, you see I took 18.7 million damage from that mechanic, and I have almost 28 million health. It used to nearly one-shot me. It's pretty crazy. Unfortunately, the fight is still frustrating in the way that if we have ranged, not baiting the circles, it is a total joke to fight as a tank and also probably as a melee. Perhaps why this guy is going to get frustrated. As we see here, we are not having people range bait it, so we have puddles directly on it. Up until this point though, perfect run. The boss, like I said, a little awkward and some weird stuff going on here, but you're going to see our second death of the dungeon here due to the monk I'm not really sure what he's doing right now. I guess just like insane greed here. I don't really know how else to describe this. So we have puddles right next to the beam. You can see a line of players right underneath my character. The monk is the guy slightly to my right, and then we have some other players in this same quadrant here on the same line as them, not going to die. So watch what actually happens here. I think you can tell by the debuff from the monk. He's going to just continue to punch the boss and stand in the puddle instead of either, I guess, move through the beam. I survived that easily, or just move back. You kind of can't see it. It's under my webcam, but the hunter and the healer are actually just back there. There's space behind the puddle that's still in the quadrant that they can navigate. The monk decides to, instead of do that, just stay in the circle the whole time and die. We get the battle res, and then we immediately have the hunter stacked on us again, and we put the circles on us again. Okay, so the guy who just died is now upset about that, perhaps. He says, "But please tank it like a human being." I've never heard anybody use that phrasing before. And then, like, while that's happening, I mean, again, like, the boss just fucking refuses to move. I don't know what to do here, okay? The boss is just not moving. Doing the Obsidian Beam, the guy is insulting me for this. We interrupt it. It still doesn't move, just standing in the circle, so melee cannot attack at all. We finally get it to move, and then there's just more puddles. Okay, so now we get to this part, and this is why I'm testing the dungeon, because I'm actually learning new things about the route here. These two mobs I've identified that we need to add to our route if we want to do the exact same route as before, okay? So this is kind of awkward because we have a lot of casters here. Some casters over there, and then I want to pull the pack on the stairs down as well. I'm thinking mentally about gathering all of these packs. This is basically 3 pulls all together, and you might see the problem. We actually have missed one of the casters. It is out there casting and not being interrupted by anybody, but obviously I should prioritize gripping that in. That enemy is actually just not going to get interrupted once by anybody. It's not going to get stopped. It's just going to free cast. You see the bolts coming in and hitting random players. So the monk actually paralyzes it, okay? I mean, I don't know why you can't just go out there and interrupt it, but regardless, he does that, and I simply do not identify that ever happens. It is totally like out of sight, out of mind situation here. It's not even on the screen, so I am not even aware that mob hasn't been pulled in. I see it now, but I just don't react to it, and we just ignore it, okay? This is totally on me, my fault here, but kind of a weird decision. Like, multiple people should be able to stop this and bring this in, and we just don't do it, so kind of a strange conflicts of things that lead to what comes next. So anyway, he's spamming it. I don't know. I guess at this point, I'm just totally unaware. I had no idea that mob was still alive, so I assumed anything that wasn't killed in that pack would come into the room. It doesn't, for whatever reason, just staying paralyzed. I'm not really sure if there's any way for that to stop. Like, you can't break the paralyze once you paralyze it, I guess. I'm not really sure. But we kill the mob, and then again, I'm just like totally unaware that that mob is still alive. I guess I should see it. It's there, but I barely see it. And then the weirdest part about it is we just fly away from it. So you can actually like mount up while in combat in this dungeon, I guess. Is that how that actually works? Like, I'd never experienced this before in my life. This is very new and very strange. I did not know that this actually could occur. And then, you know, because of that, I guess the guy dies to the caster, which is like a non-issue. Like, okay, I'm sorry you died. That's my bad. Just res and keep going. He says, Jesus, how brain dead, tank. Can you see I did paralyze because you can't grip and there's a caster shotting us. How do you pretend to fucking test like this? So me and him are going back and forth. We try to pull it a second time. We still haven't bloodlusted and I'm actually going to go down here. You see how much damage I get taken here. This is insane. At this point, they initiate a vote to leave or whatever. You might have seen it pop up. You're going to miss a lot of these from my footage. It's under my webcam. Maybe we'll figure out a way to move it once it's live, but as of right now, it's missed. I obviously vote no here because like, what the fuck are we talking about? I want to test the goddamn dungeon. I want to see the count. I want to see the situation. So this is what I was actually talking about in the other video. The abandoned instance vote was unsuccessful, but you would think, who cares? It's the PTR, right? This guy's all turned up about this shit. I figure he's leaving at this point. I'm sitting here thinking like, there's no way we're pulling this again. They're actually up there all sitting on the roof. I had no idea. I was straight up totally unaware that they're sitting on the roof. Their dots are all stacked up, but I guess they're on the roof somewhere. I have no idea. I still don't know where they actually are, but we're going to continue, which is really, really funny to me. It's actually telling you that maybe people are going to take this serious. Maybe people are actually going to care about the vote enough that they will calm themselves down and finish a key, because this guy's here. He's doing DPS. He was just freaking out, yelling at me over two different situations. Instead of the vote passing, it fails, and now we're just continuing like it never happened. You know what I mean? So I don't know. Is this proof that it's working? You guys tell me. So we give up on Dawnbreaker. We're going to move to Priory because I want to test this more. I just want to show you we're wiping this boss here, and this is where it will reset. This is on the right side. It's like there's like a line, almost like some dirt on the ground. You see when he passes that, he resets. But anyway, the vote to leave occurs in this dungeon. This time it actually passes, and it just kicks us all out of the dungeon. This is what it looks like. If you've never seen it, there's like a little screen thing that pops up. Our character gets like a little timey-wimey thing underneath us, and then we get taken out of the dungeon, and I get frustrated. So now we're rebuilding the group, and these people sign up. Now this, I should have paid attention to this, but I'm already frustrated by all the nonsense that's been going on. So I totally don't notice that this warrior is 639 item level on the PTR. That's a peculiar thing, isn't it? Why is he that low? We'll find out. Now, if I had voodoo, I would see immediately that the guy has like a ton less health than everybody else. But I don't have it on the PTR because I don't want to have extra add-ons that constantly need to be updated just in case there's an issue with PTR add-ons. So you could see the DPS chart, right? Like the guy's losing to me, genuinely losing to me during a bloodlust, the first pull, gigantic pull. Gonna end up dying here as well to cap it off, but at that point I've already beaten him, and him and the hunter are both gonna die. Okay, so like, yeah, you don't really notice it because two people die. This continues on. Like it never really changes. The guy's like struggling to beat me on every single pack we do. Hunter's just like blowing him out of the water as well. And then the druid also maybe is in a bit of a weird state. People were commenting on the stream that the druid is also kind of not doing very good damage. Here's what the boss looks like. Okay, by the way, total mess with all the area denial, but it's not terrible. It's just kind of annoying, unfun. It's just unfun. But again, I beat him on the boss too. It's not a single target boss, but yeah, I actually beat him on the boss. And then at this point, things are gonna boil over for other people. The hunter says, wait, warrior, do your gear even scale? The response, not all, I see now. And his response, oh my fucking god. Okay, so I'm looking at my gear and I'm thinking like, people are talking about gear not scaling, and I'm kind of thinking about it, but it looks like every piece of gear does actually scale. It says 710 on the left. No matter what the item level is on the right, it is going to scale to 710. That's what we're testing on. So, but anyway, they're still talking about this. The guy says, go in a 12 with not full gear. Like, what the fuck does that comment mean? Basically, he's unhappy with this, I guess, TLDR. And the warrior is now confirming that his weapons are not scaling. So I'm talking about it on stream, like, what are you talking about? Why would some gear not scale, right? Faxy's going to explain it to us. He says, only gear that doesn't scale is stuff below 636. So unless his weapons are lower than that, and we look at him, they are 626 weapons. We talked to him after the key. He said this was just a character he had on the PTR from season 1. And yeah, we are actually doing a key with somebody who has gear on from season 1, and it is not scaled at all. It's not scaled at all. And I think they do this to prevent people from wearing like Thunder Fury and shit. We used to do that all the time back in the day. But anyway, this is again not an issue. It's the fucking PTR. The key's long over. We had tons of deaths. People are doing like half the damage of each other. So whatever, let's just continue. I'm here because I want to see this route. Somebody tell me why the hunter's here. Somebody's got to explain it to me because I can't figure it out. He goes, I'm not playing with this warrior when we're already almost 30 minutes into the dungeon. I said, it's the PTR. How about you relax? The warrior says, don't cry, bro. Not helping. Not really helping. So again, an abandoned instance vote was registered and it failed because the only one who's actually worried about this is the hunter, just like the monk in the previous instance. But I just think it's crazy that the vote does not pass, and instead of leaving on the PTR, no repercussions here. I don't even think you can get the debuff on the PTR. I don't even think it's in the game. He doesn't leave. He just stays here. He's continuing to play. Look, he's doing damage. You see him doing damage right now, right? He says, don't cry. When you do a 12, you should at least have gear for it. Why? Like, I mean, honestly, like, what's the reason? Who fucking cares? It's a 12 on the PTR, man. We're just here to test it. We can test people doing it with season 1 gear too, right? Like, that's something you can test. His reply is, because you do dog damage. At this point, I'm getting frustrated with him because the last like 5 minutes, maybe 10 minutes of the dungeon, all he's doing is typing instead of actually playing. So I challenged him, just play the fucking game. Like, shut the fuck up. Like, who cares? Why does anybody care about this? Like, look at the damage chart right now. Just play the game. I'm beating everybody right now. I don't care. I'm just here to test. Look at this insane response from this guy. He says, okay, I'll stay in the key, even though I could fucking leave without any repercussions whatsoever. And instead, I'll start doing warrior DPS. What the fuck does that mean? Like, what are you even saying right now? So he's going to try to match the warrior in DPS, and he's basically going to do nothing for the rest of the dungeon. You see the chart, he's actually below the warrior now. I don't know. Did he take gear off? I don't know what he's doing. I have no idea how or why he's accomplishing this, but it's just insane to me. It's actually insane to me. Throwing a fucking fit about this on the PTR to the point where you're now wasting your own time. Like, okay, just fucking leave the key. I don't like. You think you're being held hostage by the group and you're gonna act like this. I'm telling you, it's backfiring, man. First of all, we're getting fucking free content out of it. But besides that, you look like a toddler. Like, legitimately. Like, you look like a fucking child. Especially in this case. Like, I don't think there could be a worse case because there isn't actually any punishment. Like, you can literally just leave whatever you want. So why even stay at this point? You know what I mean? These are the people that we're gonna actually run into in Live WoW, and these are the people who think Blizzard should listen to them. You can't act mature enough to interact with these human beings in the group that you joined, but you want the company to listen to what you have to say on this topic? The crazy part is this continues. It doesn't stop. You would think that after a while you would say, all right, well, whatever. They're not paying attention to me. I'm not getting the satisfaction I wanted out of this, so why don't we just stop wasting everybody's time and just continue on and do the fight normally? No, he's not going to do that. Still, I have no idea how he's accomplishing this. We're going to take a look at that, but still just kind of doing the same DPS as the warrior here, refusing to like press buttons or something, maybe took gear off. Faxi asks, is the hunter just not using ability? So I'm trying to figure out how exactly he's doing it. And while I'm looking at the damage of everybody, I get blinded. I'm not paying attention to the fight at all now. I'm looking at the damage, so I get blinded. Tom suggested that me getting blinded got these guys killed, but the hunter also gets blinded. I'm not really sure how he dies. And then the druid is actually standing in the circle, so the druid dies as well. So now we are in a position where the only actual DPS is the warrior, the guy with the non-scaling weapons, where the hunter was just arguing with. Think about what it must feel like to be the hunter in this moment, to sit here and watch this warrior as the guy being the only person who is now contributing to killing this boss. We got 400 million health left. It's too much for him. He's not going to survive this one. Gonna leave the party at this point as we finish the boss with basically one and a half players, just me and the warrior with no weapons on. And then at the end of the dungeon, you see the druid say, I don't get this. Why hunter play on public test realm when it seems he was only here to whine and not test? That's a great question. As we also see the warrior actually loses to me in overall. So I think it's funny because these are the people that are trying to influence Blizzard to care about their opinions, but they're also acting in such a childish and ridiculous way that, like, how could anybody take them serious? Like I said, it's truly a win-win because first of all, obviously we get free content. Like I said, like this is the bread and butter of this channel at this point, so I'm very happy about this. But besides that, all you do is make yourself look like an idiot. Like, who out of all of these people in this group are going to actually defend this action? Certainly nobody in the group. You're wasting your own time. Just try to finish the dungeon. Let's get out of here. It's almost over. Like, by the time he realizes that we're well over halfway point in the dungeon, you've been in here longer than you're going to be in here for the rest of the time. So just either fucking leave and take the penalty or just shut up and finish it. But the craziest part is there's not even a penalty. There's not even a penalty on the PTR. This is how the psychology of this thing is already working. Like, it's actually already working and is crazy to think about, but I cannot wait to see what it looks like in season 3 because of this. Because at the end of the day, it's also a win-win because I got what I wanted. I wanted to finish the dungeon. I want to see the entire dungeon. We're on the PTR to test the whole dungeon. I got to see that. I don't really give a shit if you do 1 million DPS at that point. It doesn't make a difference. The timer's not in play. It's gonna take a few extra minutes. Oh wow, you did nothing. All I can be sure of right now is that this next season is going to be insane, and we are going to see a lot of people struggle mentally with this concept, struggle to reckon that they are the problem in the group, struggle to reckon with the fact that their emotions are out of control, and also struggle to reckon reckon with the fact that they could have did something about this. I invited a guy who has weapons that aren't scaling, okay? So I didn't necessarily know that, but one way or the other, it's something I could have noticed if I had voodoo on, if I actually cared to look at the guy. I explained a few reasons why I didn't notice it out of the gate. The hunter also didn't notice it. So if you go 30 minutes into the dungeon before you notice this shit, start paying more attention. I mean, that's all I can say, dude. Just start paying more attention. Start vetting your group that you're in more. Start caring more about the people that you're playing alongside one way or the other, whether it's positive or negative. That lack of care is why you didn't notice that and that bothered you after 30 minutes of a dungeon. And ultimately, how about just stop hugging? You know what I mean? Obviously in the PTR, we're talking about something totally different, but this is going to be the same mentality we see into season 3. So I would really recommend anybody who watches this and feels like that this hunter was justified in his actions, you got to stop hugging, man, because nobody else is going to fucking watch this and care about you. And then at least if you play with people who are not pugs, you may actually have to force relationships here. They may care about you, you may care about them, and this will be better for everybody. You'll learn from it, you'll grow from it, and you'll probably see that your behavior was actually the problem the whole time. And because you can't just leave whenever you want out of a Mythic Plus like 5-man push group, you'll actually realize that like, oh, I actually have to improve myself. I actually have to work on this as a team. I cannot wait to see what this season looks like. That's all I got, man. Thank you for watching. We'll be back tomorrow with streaming, hopefully Wednesday again on the PTR. Then Thursday, I'm actually going on vacation, so I won't be here from Thursday until following Tuesday, but I got content planned out. We got a lot of reviews coming, so stay tuned for that. Thank you everybody who's contributed this season. We still got some good season 2 stuff coming, but this really feels like the first review of season 3, and I cannot wait to see what the second one is. Thank you for watching. We will see you guys in the next one.